Just heard from Tal, Netanyahu confirming that Israel is taking out Iranian targets in Syria. The IDF says, despite this, that Iran is continuing to try and improve its ability to launch rockets from Syria. So does this mean that Israel could be setting up to up the ante here?
I think this is a incredible shift that the Prime Minister announced today. I really can't underscore that enough. The fact that he's bringing up the theological aspect within Islam of the battle between Sunni and Shia over supremacy within Islam can't be understated. This is out of the norm within Israel when dealing with the threat from Iran. Clearly, we know that Iran is seeking to expand across the entire region, and that's been going on for a while, and the Israelis have been very clear that they're not going to allow that to happen. However, why this change today of announcing about the Iranian attempts to import Shia into Syria and to cause the Sunni Muslims to flee and to take refuge in Europe? I believe that this is a message that is being sent to the Sunni Arab countries, to the people. The leadership of these countries understand the threat that they are under from Iran, and they are working with the Israelis. But the people are hostile to Israel. The people have not been conditioned to work with Israel and with Jews. And so this message is being sent to the religious establishment, to the imams within these countries, to tell them this isn't about Israel's future. This is about Sunni versus Shia. This is about the supremacy within Islam. This is a threat to your control over these areas that you've been in control for 1,400 years. This is a message to get their support, to get the people on board, so that when the leaders in these countries go forward with some sort of action to get rid of this threat from the Iranian regime, that there will be broad support.
And EJ, to that point, he's not just addressing this to the Middle East and the area there that could suffer from this. He's also bringing up quite consistently, he did it in his European tour, that this would also lead to more refugees that could then flood into Europe and potentially lead to more terrorist attacks on European soil from these people. Is that likely to get more action from the Europeans? The Europeans dread the idea of more refugees. What kind of response could we get from Europe because of this?
Yeah, this definitely is part of an effort as well, I think secondarily, because I do believe that this is speaking to the religious establishment within Islam, within Sunni Islam. Within Europe, there's a big difference between the European Union and individual European countries. And we're seeing this especially in the Eastern European countries, this resistance against the constant influx of immigrants into the country or refugees into their countries. And even with some of the traditional countries, even countries like France, are having their problems and want to resist this continuous flow of refugees. So this is a message as well regarding the Iran nuclear deal, that Iran is not an ally, they're an adversary, and it's time to get on board with this and just accept the reality, because otherwise, yes, you will have an increasing influx of Sunni Muslims who come in with sleeper cells that come in, because there will be no way of properly vetting these people that come in, and it will overwhelm your system, and you are incapable of absorbing these types of numbers.
EJ, I want to bring the Russian angle into this conversation because Russia has given Israel the green light to do what it needs to protect its security and take action against Iran in Syria. Russia also stated quite clearly that it wants Iran out of Syria. But at the same time, we have Syria's Assad al-Bashar saying that, firstly, he denies that Iran has a military base in Syria, but he says that Iran is an ally, just like Russia, and that he still needs the assistance of Iranian and Hezbollah forces in Syria, and that they will stay in the country as long as he deems necessary. Is Syria going against Iran here? What do you make of these comments?
Well, the Russians, while they've given... Right. On the one hand, Russia, while they have given Israel the green light, they've been pretty clear during the World Cup that they do not want either side to escalate anything to cause a distraction from Russia's attempt to be a leader on the world stage right now. I think what we're seeing is the fact that Bashar al-Assad understands that his future is tied as an Alawite minority, that his future to control this western part of Syria is controlled to the Iranians. It's controlled by Hezbollah. It's controlled by the Iranian regime continuing to support him by bringing this influx of Shia Muslims to surround the area that he wants to maintain control over, get rid of the Sunni Muslims, which will be a threat and are a threat to his continued rule. And while the Russians don't want this shift to happen, the question is, how much are the Russians willing to invest to prevent this from happening? And, I don't believe that the Russians are willing to put the type of sacrifice in place to maintain their control without an Iranian influence, because that would require, it seems at this point, the removal of Bashar al-Assad. And it's not like the Russians want to sit there and install a new leader in the western part of Syria.
Right. Israel probably doing a lot of Russia's dirty work for it.